Good morning, everyone. Gary Ryan here with you for another Fed League Flash, another Fed History edition, and this time we're talking about the bees, Battle Creek Rumblebees. An interesting story of failure. um, Obviously, especially in the lower level of minor league hockey, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of flux and ebbs and flows. Some things work, some things don't. Battle Creek, unfortunately, was a story of what didn't work. And there were a lot of reasons why, not just the product that was on the ice, which ended up with the infamous horrible record, but also things going on behind the scenes. So we're going to get right into this. All right. So Battle Creek, originally, there was supposed to be a franchise put into Battle Creek for the 2018-2019 season. For some reason, those plans were put on hold, whether they weren't able to secure a good ownership group or whatever, I'm not sure. But anyway, so the team was put on kind of a back burner. And so two neutral site games were planned for being played at Battle Creek to kind of help build things up. Kind of like what the Mississippi Sea Wolves did a couple years ago in then Baton Rouge. Those games were canceled. Now, the number one goal of the Fed going into the 2019-2020 season was expansion, and literally at all costs. The team had been struggling with just being able to maintain six franchises for quite a while. They wanted to grow, they wanted to become bigger, and so they really, really pushed expansion for the next year. So there was four teams that ended up as part of that expansion. Now, Danbury, the Hat Tricks, which was a third iteration of a team in Danbury for the Fed, that was announced on May 7th of 2019. Then the Columbus River Dragons were announced on the 21st of May. And then Delaware on the 29th of May. So the expansion draft was held on June 4th. All the players were picked. In the meantime, a lot of free agents were signing with teams. So now the league is a 9-team league. Behind the scenes, the Fed's going, we need to get up to 10. We have to get up to 10. They pushed to add a 10th team, created a dummy schedule. So everything was pretty much on paper. Late June, the league announced, we're going to add a 10th team. And they were looking for a suitable owner. Barry Soskin knew that this was going to be a huge money sucker. But he said, all right, fine. I'll take the team. So it was not until July 23rd that the Battle Creek Rumblebees were announced. In one press conference, we had the announcement of the team, jersey reveal, team colors. Adam Steele is announced as the GM. The ownership group's announced. The schedule is announced. Everything's announced. So everything was already done behind the scenes. Okay. The first player signed, goaltender Joel Eisenhower. He was named. So, everything's put out there on one day, but they had 92 days before opening day of the season to assemble a team, get a marketing plan together, do a ticket drive, get corporate sponsorships, all the things that a team needs to do to set themselves up for success. And they were given 92 days to do that. That's not enough time. So this team was designed to fail, basically. All right, so Steele comes in after serving as a GM for the Evansville Thunderbolts in the SPHL the year before. That team didn't do too good either, but nonetheless, that was not Steele's fault. All right, so Steele had to play with the hand he was dealt. In Evansville, he he was given another bad hand once again here with Battle Creek. All right, so team says we're going to play at the rink in Battle Creek. It's 1,000-seat rec style arena. All the seating's on one side. All right, so everything gets set. Head coach's name, that's Clint Hagmeyer, who had plenty of coaching experience before that. Steele does his best to put a team together and handpick everybody, but I mean, there's nobody left. There weren't any quality established Fed players left. Consequently, the team was a lot of first-time pros, a lot of rookies, and a lot of other players that basically were at the end of their careers looking for an opportunity to just kind of take a leadership role. So, all right, the team begins play on October 25th at home. A crowd of 672 come in. Pretty good. It's a 7-1 loss to Danville. That 672, that'd be the biggest crowd that the Rumblebees would have all year. Following day, they lose 6-3 to Danville. November 1st, they lose 7-2 to Mentor. And the following day, they lose 5-3 to Mentor. Well, at least that game was competitive. Then they lose to Mentor again, 10-3. 24 games, all losses. One went to overtime. So they gained a point. But it was a 24-game losing streak, which at that point in time was a record for professional hockey, which was eclipsed by Delaware last year. But nonetheless, they only scored 2 goals. They only allowed. I'm sorry, never mind. I don't know what I wrote there. Okay, so by the 9th game, Hagmeyer was released. It wasn't so much based on performance as it was a cost-cutting move because the team was already losing gobs and gobs of money. So Steele, already GM and president of operations, goes behind the bench, saves some money. Not enough, but nonetheless. So the team keeps going through loss and loss and loss. Then we have the infamous guaranteed win night in Elmira. You're all familiar with this story. January 3rd, 2020, the Rumblebees stun the hockey world by figuring out a way of pulling out a 2-1 win. Not only did they win, but they only allowed 1 goal. Joel Eisenhower made 41 saves in that game. And so finally, the Rumblebees are in the win column, hoping to build upon that. Elmira, in the rematch following day, said, no, you're not doing that again. 1-6-3. Next thing you know, you have another 23 games in a row, all losses. So, on March 8th, Battle Creek plays their final game. It was a 6-4 loss to the Port Huron Prowlers. 90 saves by Joel Eisenhower. That's right. Port Huron got 96 shots on goal in the game. Obviously, the save mark and the shot mark are Fed records. So, so graciously for Battle Creek, it's announced by the Fed that the season is being postponed on March 12th due to COVID. And then, of course, later, a few days later, it was canceled. So the final record is 145-2, 5 points. The team only scored 94 goals and allowed 304, averaging 353 fans a game at Battle Creek. Obviously, even before the final curtain closed on March 8th, the team was already looking at folding. So, it's amazing. There were some good players on this team. Ryan Alvis, he was one of those veterans that came in to kind of help be a leadership guy. 12 goals, 30 points. He was the leading scorer for the team. Stavros Soilis, who is now with the Elmira River Sharks. He had 10 goals, 20 points. You had Joel Eisenhower with that 122-2 mark, 597 goals against, and an 881 save percentage, which 881 wasn't that bad considering this team. Little known fact, the well-known Trevor Babin got his start in the Fed with the Battle Creek Rumblebees in 2 games, 85 minutes played, had a 4.22 goals against and a 920 save percentage. So he already showed that he could play big time and perform well. Also on the team was defenseman Ethan Bush Anderson, who is with Mississippi now. Defenseman Gino Meany of Port Huron. Vinny Susi played with Carolina last year. Jacob Wolf, now with the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Austin Weber played last year with Delaware. Brandon Cutrato, one of the big scorers back in the day. He played 4 games with them and then got flipped to Port Huron. All right, so everything's done. The team's done. So on April 1st, now of course the league is now in hiatus. The season's already been postponed or canceled rather. The league announces that they're going to take Battle Creek and relocate them to Berlin, New Hampshire. Now, previously there was a team in Berlin, the Berlin River Drivers. The Fed had tried 3 times to place a team in Berlin. It never worked out. Don Kiernan at the time said, quote, "Gosh damn it, I don't care how many times it takes. We're going to make Berlin a successful Fed market." Kind of a curious statement. It's the definition of insanity. You bang your head against the wall and expect different results. Then it's announced that the team name, the jerseys, and the colors are all going to be kept in a cost-saving move. So it's just going to be the Berlin Rumblebees. Nobody told Adam Steele, excuse me. And so Steele says, we didn't know we were going to be keeping the name and jerseys and colors. So the team had the week before sold all the equipment for the team, thinking they were just done, to the public. So everybody bought up all the Bees jerseys and the equipment and all that. So now there's nothing for the team to wear in Berlin. So Steele says, anybody who bought our stuff during our equipment sell-off last week, we're going to need that stuff back. And we also need you to cover the cost of shipping. No refunds. How much stuff do you think they got back? So, a lot of curious things being said. All right, so finally, on June 19th, it's not announced by the league. It's announced by WTVB in Battle Creek that the team had ceased operations and folded. There was no press conference. There was no news conference. Steele was the last to know. He literally got a call on the previous Monday, the 15th, from another GM who said, "Hey, who do you think I should take for the dispersal draft?" Steele was like, "What?" Yeah, nobody talked to anybody else. So, yeah, so the team had dispersal draft. Players were taken on June 15th, and quietly, the Battle Creek Rumblebees were no more. Talk about a complete collapse. Colony collapse disorder. So the team officially lasted a grand total of 324 days from the day it was announced to the day that the expansion draft or the dispersal draft happened. A victim of overexpansion and lack of foresight. Interesting story. Interesting times in the Fed. All right, so that's a brief capsule of the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Let me know what you thought about this video. Leave a comment down below. Hit like and subscribe. Keep in touch with us next week. We'll have plenty of news and notes. Take it easy.